You will not even be paid a quarter of what you are used to being paid abroad. And I know that sounds really, really low, like, how can you pay someone that? That's atrocious, that's this. That is what it is in Ghana. And that's probably quite healthy for Ghana. That's a healthy salary. Those kind of jobs will come your way, but they're not standard. They're not industry standard where you can just say, okay, I'm gonna hand in my CV here. I'm actually gonna be negative if I take this job. You have to have somebody that you can trust. And I'm not saying that local Ghanaians are not trustworthy, but hey guys, welcome back. All right, in today's video, I want us to really look at the cost of living and how that affects job opportunities here for us in the diaspora that want to come and move to Ghana. Okay, so first of all, I want to start off by saying that when you're thinking of coming here, you definitely have to adjust your thinking in terms of getting a job, right? Because the transition of what you are used to being paid and what you'll be paid in Ghana are two completely different things. You will not even be paid a quarter of what you are used to being paid abroad. So I want you to have an understanding of that as I go through this video, okay? Now, every country has its minimum wage, right? Now, the average Ghanaian wage for workers in Ghana will shock you. First of all, I wonder if you guys can guess what it is. I want you to pause the video right now and put your guess into the comment section for me and let me know what you think the average Ghanaian wage is for a job in Ghana. Okay. You done it? Okay, great. All right, so the average Ghanaian wage in Ghana is $150 a month. $150 is about 1,500 cedis or so, which in Ghana, I'm telling that sounds about average, honestly, because some of the jobs that are not skilled, for example, like working in restaurants, house help, things like that, can be a little bit below that. So I know people that have worked in restaurants and worked 6 days a week, like Monday to Saturday, and would earn 600 cedis, which is like $60. And I know that sounds really, really low, like, how can you pay someone that? That's atrocious, that's this. That is what it is in Ghana. I remember when I first came to Ghana, I was going to get a job in this school. And this was even someone that I knew. And the salary that I was offered, I wasn't used to what the wages were going to be like. And obviously no one warned me because, no one was doing these kind of videos. And I was offered 2,000 cedis. And if you look back then, that's 10 years ago, that was a decent salary for Ghana. That's like not bad. But for me, it just didn't equate. Because I remember I sat down with the maths and I was like, how would I make this work? By the time I travel to come to school and then travel back home, by the time I eat lunch and all that, like there's nothing, I'll actually be in minus. That's how I looked at it. I looked at it as in, I'm actually going to be negative if I take this job. It didn't make sense. So in the end, I didn't take it, even though it was a great opportunity for me to, I guess, get a better understanding of the culture and, all kinds of things. It was still like, it just wouldn't work for me. And that's how it is in many of the sectors. So what I want to do right now is break down the cost of living so that you get an understanding of how Ghanaians are able to do it and how that would affect you and how you could make it work. I'm also going to give you some tips on ways to save when you're in Ghana because, hey, if you don't know this about me, I love to save money. If I don't have to pay for something, I'm not paying for it. Like, I will find ways to cut costs as much as possible if I can, because I know what I want to spend my money on. Okay, so we'll start with the first thing, which is the salary of someone who's in IT. Now, IT you'd expect would be, that's quite decent. That's quite a good industry to go into, right? Like you expect that if someone's good at IT, they should get a decent salary because, hey, we all need IT experts, right? In whatever capacity that is. If you're in the IT field, you would probably get a decent salary. So we're looking at anything from maybe around the 6,000 cedis mark, right? That's pretty good. But I have to let you know that it's not like jobs here are not necessarily like 9 to 5, like you clock in, you clock out at those times. Sometimes when you have these higher paying jobs, you will pay for it. Like you will have to really work to keep your position and keep that salary. It's not like, okay, you've come in, you fulfilled the things on your job description and that's what it is. Anything after that, is beyond you. No, no, no. You're going to be expected to go above and beyond to show that you are worth these things. So that's someone who's in IT. Now, if you're in teaching, I would say in the UK anyway, I can't speak for this America, I don't know. But in the UK, I don't know what the average salary of a teacher is, but it's going to be modest, right? You know, teachers are always underpaid, right, for the work that they do, which I get. I fully agree, because I feel like teachers are the ones that input into the children, and the children are the future of the generations to come, right? So you have to show some type of good investment into them. But so teachers are kind of averagely paid. So in Ghana, teachers are around maybe the 3,000 mark. And I would say that's probably even very good if we say 3,000 cities or so, because even 3,000 cities, some teachers will not get 3,000 cities. Let me be honest with you. Some of these schools that are very local, I'll use that word local, they're not giving you 3,000 cities. But if you're looking at some of the more international schools, then yeah, perhaps you'll get 3,000, maybe even up to 5,000 cities a month, right? You're looking at that kind of wage, and that's probably quite healthy for Ghana. That's a healthy salary. Even people that work in banks, for example, you'd think, okay, you know what? I work in a bank, it's office, it's people facing, customer service and all of that. You'd think it'd be a great salary. Sometimes those people don't even earn that much. I remember seeing a video on Instagram not too long ago, and the guy was complaining about his salary, and I think he was actually, I think it was a bank, or he worked in some type of like customer service role, industry type thing, but I'm pretty sure it was a bank. And he went online and he complained about his salary. He said he was getting paid 3,000 cities, and he was complaining about his salary, saying it's not enough, like he's struggling with even the salary that he's got. And he did that video, and he actually got sacked because he did the video because he was complaining about what he was earning. And that just goes to show that 3,000 cities, you have to struggle. And what a lot of Ghanaians tend to do is when they will have their main job, but they will have plenty side hustles. Like, they don't have the mentality of having just one thing that they do. I feel like maybe America has a similar culture where people hustle a lot. We don't tend to have that as much in the UK. Like, you have your job and that's where your security is. And that's what we're kind of used to. Like, you will find people who are a little bit different that will have, hobbies that pay them. They'll do some extra things on the side. But predominantly, most of us in the UK, we have a job and that's what we stick to. But I feel like in America, people tend to, put their hands into a few other things as well. They're more into the multiple streams of income compared to those of us in the UK. So Ghana, definitely, that culture in Ghana is very strong. Like, what do you mean you only have your job? Because I feel like job security here is not as strong. So people know that you need to have a backup, like anything can happen. Nothing is stable here. So people have other ways to support themselves financially rather than just a job. You'd be surprised that someone can have a job, might be a teacher, but might sell property on the side. They do like so many different things, or they sell clothes, or, they do like whatever they can put their hands to, they will find to do, just to have another stream of income, because having one job as your sole source of income is just not enough to sustain yourself. And that's as a local Ghanaian person that knows the ins and outs and knows prices and knows how to negotiate and all of that good stuff. They still know that they need an extra source in order to survive here. So I would say that a job that is kind of pretty, like a salary that's kind of pretty across the board, which is not unachievable, would be around the 2,000 cities mark. Like, if you're in anything that kind of bracket, you're doing okay. You're not living it up, you're just kind of doing okay. Like, most people live around that. I would say the top end of that is going towards 5,000. Even 5,000 is like a decent salary. Like, if you are an expat or you are someone from the diaspora and you come to get a job here and you get a job and it offers you 5,000, that's not a bad start. That's kind of what you're going to be expecting, something around that mark. If you're lucky, there are some places that will employ you, they'll pay you dollars, and so you can get a better understanding. It may make a little bit more financial sense to you. There are people, let me also not get it wrong, there are people that make good money here working, and they're not necessarily even it's because the main office is from the States or from the UK. It's not even that. Some people here do pay very well. You can find jobs that will give you like maybe $1,000 a month, 1,500 a month. Those jobs do exist, but they're very few and far behind. Those kind of jobs, the way to get those is through networking. So it's about who you know in your circle of people that can say, hey, I'm looking for this kind of person. Do you know anybody? And, you know, those kind of jobs will come your way, but they're not standard. They're not industry standard where you can just say, okay, I'm going to hand in my CV here and see if I can get a job here. You're not necessarily going to walk into those $1,000 jobs. It doesn't work like that here. You know, expats, I keep saying expats. So people from the diaspora, expats is not necessarily wrong, but anyway, people from the diaspora can tend to earn a little bit more above the salaries of those who are local to Ghana, right? And the reason for that is because sometimes people will see the value in hiring somebody who is from the diaspora because they expect them to have a different type of understanding, right? They expect to not have to put in as much work. You know, they feel like if they can get away with paying a little bit more and getting a lot more expertise. So the structure that some people do here, for example, if I had a hotel, right, this is how I would do it. I would hire somebody who is from the diaspora or someone who's very well educated and that I don't have to micromanage, I don't have to train too much, to be like my second in command. And that person I know is fully capable of handling issues, anything to do with customer service, handling the people, handling staff. I would hire them for that. And then I would hire the rest of the staff underneath that, you know, like there'll be people that I will train up, right? But for the most part, I will have someone who is probably from the diaspora that can be second to command in me if I'm not around. And the reason that I say that is a good move to do it that way is because of when you run a business here, like some of you might not like what I'm going to say, but it is just it's the hard truth, and that's just the honesty of it, right? You have to have somebody that you can trust. And I'm not saying that local Ghanaians are not trustworthy, but, you know, I gave the example in a previous video where I said that if you give someone money that they've never seen before, you can only expect some type of mismanagement somewhere along the line. And that rings true of all of us. That doesn't ring true for just Ghanaians. I even gave myself an example. I said, if you give me $1 billion and you tell me manage it, I'll try my best, but you know what? The temptation may be there. Do you know what I'm saying? Or not even maybe the temptation, but there could be an element of mismanagement. I've never seen money like that before. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be let's not pretend like none of us would ever do it, because we only need to be in the right positions for certain things to happen, right? And for us to take certain actions. I know this billionaire and he drops 10 cedis on the floor. I know he's not going to miss these 10 cedis. Like, maybe I won't give it back, or maybe, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that I would do that, but I'm saying that's the thought process that people can have. Whereas it's stealing. And so that's the same principle that I would use for Ghana. And when it comes to setting up a business, I would say that if I hire somebody who I can trust, because not everybody from the diaspora is necessarily trustworthy. Let's just get that out there, right? If I hire somebody from the diaspora that I can trust, right? I know that if I leave one city, my one city will still be there when I get back. Like they've seen it before, like it's nothing to them, but to somebody else, that's one city. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That's one, like they're gonna take it. And so I'm saying that for you to understand and appreciate the value of the money. Right, so I don't want to digress too much away from the cost of living here. So that's potentially the kind of salary that you could expect here. So how do people live off that salary? So this was originally one long video, and I decided to cut it in half because they are two separate subjects, although they do follow each other. So I'm uploading part 1 today, and I will upload part 2 another day, which is kind of in the same topic, but it's more about what the cost of living is in Ghana. So stay tuned for that one. So that's the end of today's video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear about it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Lutuka.
Baby, you give me kind of bird.